So family caregivers can really be anybody. It can be a parent or a child or a sibling, a friend, a neighbor, and that's how we're defining family caregivers. So for us, a family caregiver is whoever the patient says their family is.
There is no typical caring experience or caregiver. Everybody is different. You have parents who care for ill children. You have young carers caring for their parents, siblings, or grandparents. You have someone caring for an ill spouse or for an aging parent. And you have friends and neighbors as well that care for their friends and neighbors. 75% of family caregivers work, which is a lot, but many of them don't work. And you also have a lot of caregivers who are in the sandwich generation. So they're caring for an aging parent and they have children at home at the same time. There are so many issues that caregivers face. Some of them are emotional, and they can range from isolation and loneliness, and there's also a lot of guilt that accompanies caregiving. Some of them are financial. There's a lot of pressures on caregivers. They may lose their jobs because of their caregiving responsibilities or have to reduce their hours. And just the challenges of working flexibly that are needed when you're a caregiver come up very often. And then there's the everyday considerations of how do you navigate the system? Most caregivers have no idea how to find services. And then there's the challenges of how do they get enough respite care for themselves so they can take a break. And some caregivers can't get any care at all for their loved ones, unfortunately, in Ontario today. And that's why caregivers are starting to burn out, and we're hearing that the rate of burnout of caregivers has doubled in the last 4 years, and it's now at 33% of caregivers.
There's real value in listening to family caregivers because they're often the individuals who see the patient experience from the very beginning of an interaction to the end, and sometimes the patient isn't always aware of all of those interactions. So they have real wisdom in terms of what the system is actually able to provide or not provide. And they also are usually the most knowledgeable person about the patient themselves. And so we really think the system could learn a lot by bringing families into the conversation and listening to what they have to say.